Okay. Yeah, I think we're live. Let me just check.
There we go.
All right. All right. The chat into live chat. Arden's here. Arden's here already? Hey, buddy. I'm going to miss at least part of this. I am doing my usual weekly gaming stream right now. Hope you have a good show. Thank you, Arden. Nice for you to tune in. All right. So this is the lunchtime Hollywoke hot take lunchtime live stream. So for lunch, I have two small tuna fish sandwiches. Now I like to use Miracle Whip instead of mayo. Sorry, I just think a sandwich is not a sandwich without the tasty spread of Miracle Whip. And I've got some onion in there because I've got fresh onion from my dad's garden. Also fresh from the garden is Jersey tomatoes and some of my parents' homemade pickles. So delicious. And I am so friggin' hungry. I'm going to start eating now. Oh, man. Hold on. My sandwich is falling apart already. Come on, sandwich. So, I got some Jersey tomatoes as well. I think my bread is already falling apart. Jesus. Hold on. It's going everywhere. Now, I must warn you, if you haven't figured it out already, I'm told I don't really eat so much as I devour food. So don't worry. This lunch ain't gonna last long. Alright, let's try pickle. The most satisfying part of homemade pickles. Hi, Joan. Joan's finally paying attention to me now that I'm eating. Most satisfying part about homemade pickles is the crunch. The texture is amazing. Here, Joan. Come here. Come here. All right, sit there. Watch me eat. I got nothing for Joan. I already gave her tuna fish, so. Did I spill that in my lap? Kinda. All right. Highly recommend homemade pickles. Now, if you make them and they're soft, unfortunately you messed it up, but they're delicious. When I was over their house, or I called them, they were working on the bread and butter pickles. These are your, dill. Oh, man. So good. Now we'll try a Jersey tomato. It's in my sandwich, but I got pieces of it left. Jersey tomatoes are a thing. For those of you living outside the country, Jersey tomatoes, definitely a thing. Oh, so good. I'm so hungry. As I often am. Let me see if I can get my plate over in this area. Move the microphone here. I know. I'm totally thrown off because we're not doing this at the normal time. But for various reasons, I don't know why I scheduled my event tomorrow night for tomorrow night. I think that was the only day they could do it, or that was the day we picked, because it's the last day of the Italian festival in Hamilton. Last day. I gotta talk loud or else I'll get complaints. Sorry. The Italian festival in Hamilton, New Jersey, is the oldest in the country. since 1875. And in fact, to celebrate the 150th anniversary, they had a drone thing, which I missed. But I think it happened on Sunday last week. Now, I'll show you it all fall apart. But we're going to talk about movies, such as it is on a Saturday at noon. We don't have too many good numbers because the numbers haven't really updated for Friday yet. I looked at the list, and Superman's not even on it yet. So they don't even have the numbers for him. But we'll get into it. I think we're going to do some of the news a little bit today, just for the hell of it. I'm sure we'll find stuff to talk about. I added the Post Millennial, the New York Post, Breitbart, which I started adding, but we'll look at some of the news. There are some big stories today. There's one big story that I can't wait to talk about. I hope I finish my food, because I may choke on it if we get to that story before I'm finished. It's the best news story of yesterday, by far. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, you're probably going to laugh. Yeah, I would like to do a try channel where I just eat food. But I would probably like everything, because I do love food. Now, normally, I'd have potato chips with this, but I had to give up potato chips. My doctor says I might be starting a fatty liver, so I had to lose some weight. So I cut out potato chips. I cut out extra food, because, again, I devour. And now I've already lost a little weight. I feel better, actually. I think I was eating too many potato chips. God, I love them. I think about potato chips every single day. It's weird. I go to make my lunch and go, oh, man, I wish I had some chips. Every single time, because I love them so much. But I kind of switched to pickles, and it's a good thing it's pickle season, at least at my parents'. So, at some point, my parents will go, you're eating all the pickles. We'd like a few pickles for ourselves. And I'll go, okay, I won't take it anymore. But, you know, it's gratifying for them that I like them so much. And I really do. Oh. I gotta get the AI to redo me in Simpsons mode and have me eating like Homer. It would be funny. Maybe you could put me and Homer side by side, shoveling food into our face. I'm kind of notorious in my family for my speed eating, much to my mother's chagrin. And only one of my nephews is comparable. But I just love food. I guess the only way that would slow me down is if I had a bunch of food I didn't particularly like, but I liked it enough to eat it, and it was the only stuff there. Then maybe I'd slow down, because I'd be like, this isn't great. Good stuff, good stuff. All right. Can I get into this with still a sandwich to go? Let's see. So this is Thursday. Superman's number one. It made $10 million, almost 11, on a Thursday. That's pretty damn good. I think that's indicative of how well it's going to do on the weekend. I think it'll do pretty good. One of the things, a lot of people are complaining about Superman on the internet, but I think this is one of those times, and the Epstein thing is similar, where people on the internet obsessed more about it than most people. And that's not, that separation's getting thinner and thinner every day, but there still is a big separation between people on the internet and people not on the internet. Now, people not on the internet, like terminally, most of them are older. They just don't go on the internet all that much. They might use it in business and use email and generally use the internet, but not like internet people, let's say. Internet people are on the internet. They communicate. That's like their primary source of communication, especially if you're younger. So, you know, some of my younger relatives have friends in other countries. They met them on the internet. They've a couple of them met them in person, but rarely do they meet in person with some. I mean, some of my artists, Vig, my cover artist for the Pineys, he has never met me in person because he lives in Malaysia. So, internet relationships are a thing of all stripes. I'm going to eat the rest of this tomato. So good. Thing about grown tomatoes in South Jersey, sometimes they're not as good as other years because too much rain, not enough rain. You got to sort of hit the window. This year, I think we hit the window. For the pickles, again, it's about the texture, but I think the brine. My girlfriend actually made an excellent batch of pickles last week. Oh my God, they were amazing. I got to get her a bunch of pickling cues so she can make me some. That'll be great. That's one of the reasons I had to do the live stream in the day, is because my social schedule has gotten a little busy this summer, and we went to a little get together last night, and we're doing something today, and might do something tomorrow too. So you know, when you got a Saturday off and your girlfriend works all week, you got to put in some time. You know what I'm saying? I normally work on Saturday, so this is a rare Saturday off for me, and a rare I'm just working Sunday. But really, yeah, I should have made this. I should have made my event on Saturday, but what are you going to do? Next week, forget it. I got a thing all weekend. I'll definitely be flying in here to do the live stream. But this Sunday, I will do a mini live stream probably after my event, just to go over the Superman numbers. Because last time someone had the international numbers. They're not on here. The international numbers were pretty good also on Thursday. So I think they cracked 300 million with Superman already, if I'm not mistaken. And if that's the case, I mean, this weekend we should be over 400, maybe 420. And if that's the case, this movie's going to easily cruise to double its production budget. Will it get to 600? It might. Because if it gets, let's say to 400 and, let's say 400 this weekend, next weekend it's likely to do at least 50 million. That'll put it at 450 with the numbers during the week. It'll probably be like 475. It should crack 500 million probably by next week. Or no, 2 weeks? Yeah, 2 weeks definitely. It'll crack 500 million. And it might peter out at 550, 520 something. Somewhere in there, but that'll be close enough. And again, the formula for what it needs is a little exaggerated because they play fast and loose with the books, I believe. And but besides that, you know, the movie cost $225 million allegedly, but you're thinking like $225 million in advertising. That's a lot of money for just for advertising, considering how much they're buying, and even internationally, even with posters and all that crap. I think they'd be hard pressed to spend over $100 million advertising. Now maybe, I mean, it's Warner Brothers. It's a big movie for them. They wanted it out there. Maybe they spent a little too much, but I don't think they spent over $100 million. But if they push the idea that they spent that, if some of that money was spent on its own affiliates, its own radio stations and TV stations that they own, then they're kind of getting that money back anyway. So are they spending it? Yes, they're losing money in the transaction, but they're kind of spreading it around. So, and that doesn't even count the merchandising. The merchandising will put it way over 600 million. Way over. There's going to be Superman, everything. So, Superman, I think, is fine. Gary at Nerdrotic. Not a big fan of the Jor-El thing. I don't blame him. Again, I think it's perfectly in line with the comics to a degree. But it depends on which era of comic you're talking about. When you're talking about a character like Superman, there have been different eras. You know, you have the original era, Golden Age. Then you have like the 50s age, which is a little different. And then as it moves into the modern era, more modern era, I should say, 60s and 70s, you know, 50s, they kind of got into science fiction, especially in the early 60s. By the 70s, they were doing social commentary. By the 80s, they were redesigning Superman, redoing his origin. So which version of Jor-El are we talking about? You're talking about a character that initially would have been like a 1930s parent. I'm Jor-El. Do good, son. Our planet's destroyed. Go to Earth and be a good man. Like that kind of stuff. And the newer stuff pushes the alien angle for the Kryptonians more. So again, if you look at Christopher, I think it's Christopher Priest is his name, who wrote that annual, which I love. And the premise of it was, instead of Superman just surviving, Jor-El manages to get 100,000 Kryptonians off of Krypton. And they come to Earth and they take it over. Because they're all Superman. There's nothing we could do about it. And so they make the Earth into their own image. And they treat us nice, but like we can't resist them. Like they're just too powerful. But Kal-El becomes a freedom fighter for the free city of Gotham, which Batman is keeping out of control of the Kryptonians nearly single-handedly. And Batman's hilarious in it because he's crazy. Because what happens is he keeps fighting the Kryptonians and he keeps getting injured, but the Kryptonians heal everybody. So he keeps like breaking every bone in his body, and the Kryptonians use their advanced technology to heal him. But he's just crazy. Or at least the Kryptonians think he is. Finish this pickle. But the Kryptonians worship science. They are a bit full of themselves and arrogant. And that's the way I saw James Gunn's interpretation. That Jor-El's advice is not meant to be evil. It's meant to be, well, obviously you're going to be better than these humans. You need to run the show. That's all. So he's dead. The character's dead anyway. Who cares? By the way, on X, I think the guys from Bounty in the Comics did it. There's a rap song they made in AI using Bradley Cooper's image as Jor-El, singing about Superman like spreading his seed. It's so effing great. And when you get right down to it, he is a minor character. Now, he's an important minor character, but he's a minor character. And in the DCU... Oh, sorry, Clint's here. Clint says, hello, gents? What's going on, Clint? Sorry, I didn't see you there. He is a minor character in the DCU, too, because there's a million characters in the DCU now. I gotta wrap this up. The lunch and learn. The Kraken is here. Good morning to all. Little Joan especially. Shout out to Joan behind me. So yeah, I don't get the hate towards Superman. Doomcock, he had a good analysis, but he really sort of viscerally hates Lex Luthor's interpretation. Now, you can't even compare the current Lex Luthor to Gene Hackman. Gene Hackman was just the absolute best. Admittedly. Clint Miller, one of these days I'll come up to one of your appearances. I'm only a couple hours away. Oh, that would be nice. Well, since you guys are here now, I have a little treat for you. Let me get rid of this plate. Put that on the floor. And then I finish off with a healthy apple. I know, that's going to be loud. All right, but before we do that, let me show you my little treat. I have the new cover for the Pineys, so we'll premiere it here. So this is the cover for book 18. Boom! There it is. I haven't put even the lettering on it yet. But I did put my little TM. It's called The Piney from Squonkum. So that's the new cover. Pretty crazy. This ghost car is known as the ghost car of Fork Landing Road, which is also introduced in the Pineys, and that's a real legend. There is a ghost car on Fork Landing Road, and it shows up every night and then disappears. So, and that's in the driver's seat, one of the little devils. So if you read the book, you'll find out how he got behind the wheel. So, yep, little premiere. Oh, shift to the left a bit, says John Adams. Thank you, John. Hold on. All right, shift to the left. Do. Sorry, I blocked it. There we go. Come on. Hold on. I got to do it this way. I gotta shrink the window and then move it. There we go. There you go. How's that? Clint Miller, your pick to pick is blocking some of it. There we go. I think I'm good now, right? I always forget that. Sorry about that. So yeah, so this is the ghost car of Fork Landing Road, and one of the devils the Pineys are hunting. And this is a scene from the book, and it's called The Piney from Squonkum. Most of the book takes place in Williamstown, New Jersey. So we'll be learning a lot about that. No worries. Clint Miller says, okay. John Adams says, thanks. So, you saw it here first. Of an exclusive. A live stream exclusive at lunch. Clint Miller, I see a blue truck in pursuit. Yeah, that's Hemingway's truck. And the guys are inside, but I didn't want to show them. I'm trying not to show the Pineys on the covers yet. The only one of the Pineys who has been on a cover has been Hemingway as a little kid. Next book, you'll see Hemingway again on the cover. But I won't give that one away. It's way too early for that. I've barely started writing that one. But I already know what the cover is. I have to give that to Vig. So Vig, once again, he's the man. He's just the man. It's just amazing the work he does. So, all right. But yeah, getting back to Superman. Superman's doing well, at least on Thursday. Here, Joan. Joan likes apple. Yeah, and she's eating it. Right behind Superman, well, not right behind, but Jurassic World Rebirth in its, I guess this will be its third week. Clint, I always buy paper and ink. When does book 18 drop? It should drop. I mean, I still have to put some stuff together. What is today? Today's Saturday. I'm probably not going to get much done today. Sunday, I should get some of it done. Monday, it'll probably drop like Monday at the earliest, Tuesday at the latest. I'll have Monday and Tuesday to work. I don't like to rush things, but the editing's done. So that's the bulk of it. But I am doing something for the back cover that's mostly done. And then I just gotta, yeah, I don't have much to do. I should be done by Monday. So Monday, it should be live. Sometimes it takes Amazon a little longer. It's supposed to be live within 72 hours, but it's usually live within, last time it was live within like 6. It was crazy. So you should be able to order it late Monday, early Tuesday. And then when am I going to get my copies? Huh. It usually takes about 2 weeks for the new book. So I won't get my copies until August. But I did just add some August dates. My August is going to be crazy right in the middle. I got a week where I'm going to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I think 6 events in a row. No, 5 in a row. That's pretty crazy for August. Yeah. I just am running ragged. There you go, Joe. But it's pretty easy. The Kindle book, like that's almost you just upload the file and it's done. There's only a couple things you need to do. It's the print book that's a little more dicey, with a cover and everything. But I've been doing this now for so long. I did it so quickly, the last book, and posted it, and that time I didn't make a mistake. For a while, I kept putting the wrong price on the ebook. Like for the first 7 books, I would always F it up and put, the print price for the ebook, and then I had to go back and change it. It would take like hours for it to change. And then, eventually I got to the point I wasn't making that mistake. And now last time I posted the book and I had, knock on wood, 0 problems. But it was a little scary because I kept saying to myself, did I do everything correctly? Like, that's always my worry. I'm going to post the wrong file or something because I'm always so scatterbrained. But, yeah, we're just about ready to go here. So that'll be good that it gets out on Monday because that's it's in July. It's not like the last day of July. And then I got to get into 19, man. 19, I got to get it written by August. So, and August is going to be busy, and July is busy, so I got to get writing. Well, I got to get that S written. But Jurassic World Rebirth, speaking of writing, they're going to be making another one of these. You know how much I hate this franchise. It's making money. I mean, it's already at 575 million worldwide. Superman will approach that, but I don't think it'll get to that. But, and that movie costs a GD fortune. So that's a moneymaker. I still don't know why. You're down. Premiering this week, I Know What You Did Last Summer. 2.2 million. I mean, this movie ain't going to set the world on fire. It's going to do okay. But it doesn't have the broad appeal of the Superman or the Jurassic Park. People want to see they want a amusement park ride for a movie this time of year. If they're even still going to the movies. People still go. I mean, it's not completely dead. It's getting there. It's getting there. I wish they would just, I don't know, invest a little money, not in seats. It's not about the seats. I don't know what they're going to do when Robert Kennedy Jr. Bans all the artificial dyes in a lot of the candy, because maybe the candy will go up in price, and then what are the theater people going to do? I mean, the theater people already, in my view, charge way too much for food. that I don't even want anymore. I mean, back in the day, I'd get myself some snow caps. Oh, I love the snow caps. I used to eat a whole box of them. But I don't know if you remember snow caps. I think they still make them. I don't see them anywhere else other than movie theaters. It's one of those candies. But and there's a few others, but like, you know, when you get older, it's like, do I really want to eat an entire box of candy that I overpaid for? No. I'll just go to CVS, pay like $1 for some. I mean, CVS has a ridiculous amount of candy. The C in CVS should stand for candy. And they always have it on sale because they bought too much and then they're always blowing it out. And you hit that place post Valentine's Day or Easter. I mean, it's ridiculous the deals you can get if you're a big candy eater. I try not to eat candy right now, especially now. So, or I'll just smuggle in whatever the hell I want to eat. I mean, I ain't paying those prices. And I've smuggled a lot of food into the movie theater, and I ain't never been stopped. Could definitely smuggle in an apple. That's easy. I mean, I don't know what you're going to do with the core. Probably drop it on the floor, but that's a little much. Clint Miller. Poor Stephen Colbert losing his gig. You breached the subject early. Ha 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 ha. Mwahahaha. Who would have thunk it? I would still have a show after Stephen Colbert is off the air. I thought Razor Fist was going to give himself an aneurysm laughing so hard at that news story. He was doing, I'm still watching it, the Razor Force Offensive. When the news story hit, because he was doing it, I guess it was yesterday or the day before, and his sidekick, Taryn, read the story, and he first said, no, that can't be real, which was my initial reaction when I first saw it drop on X. But no, it's legit. It's not only legit, Colbert already addressed it on his show and announced it to his fans. And as Razor pointed out in his video, the sad thing is Colbert is number one. He's the number one late night host. If you don't count Greg Gutfield beats him in a key demo or something. But basically, he's number one in the old school late night field, and they're canceling him, like firing him. They're ending the show. There's not going to be a late show after him. He destroyed the show. So think on that. He didn't just get fired. He sank the ship. The show that David Letterman built up after they wouldn't give him the Tonight Show for some insane reason. Stephen Colbert destroyed Letterman's show. And let's be honest, he did destroy it. He did destroy it. Vaccine. I mean, how lame was that? Clint Miller. That's real talent. Killing the show. Yeah. And the sad thing about Colbert, he does have real talent. He did. If you watch him on Strangers with Candy, where he had a character on that show. Clint Miller, Jimmy Kimmel next. I think Jimmy Kimmel already announced his retirement for, I forget which year, maybe next year? Yeah. Absolutely, 100% he's next. I think, though, Jimmy Fallon will not be announced. because the Tonight Show was the first. So if the late night scene is collapsing, it'll collapse back into the Tonight Show. And I cannot wait. I have some older relatives who have on occasion not only defended Kimmel, Stephen Colbert, and their various political views, they've actually stopped me to say, you got to see this segment on Kimmel or Colbert or whatever. Seth Meyers one time. I cannot wait to hear their reaction, because they'll just be stunned. They won't understand it at all. Here, John. Here. How does the number one show in late night die? It's because TV is dying. No one's watching TV anymore. I grew up on TV. Before the internet, I watched the TV as much as I'm on the internet. Which is a lot. Too much, admittedly. And with the internet, you can find so much, right? With television, what you would do is hunt. Flip. I don't want to watch this. I've seen that. That looks stupid. And you'd finally find something you could stomach. But with the internet, you kind of do that, but it's more pointed, and there's so much of it. You'll find something. Whatever you're thinking of, talking about, you'll find something. It's nay impossible to not find what you're looking for on the internet. Everything's there. You know, even the Piney stuff is there. Although it gets harder and harder to find for me. But even some of the books, some of them have been translated on the internet. Henry Carlton Beck's book, they're on the internet, I believe. Part of it's a preservation thing, but part of it's just people putting books on the internet. There's also some sites, they'll just put the books on the internet, and you can pay them money and you read them. Here, John. Joan's been very antsy. All right. Done food. That concludes lunch. So, and in Colbert's defense, how do you compete with that? Right? How are you going to watch a TV show, one as bad as Colbert's, in my opinion, as compared to all of the internet, where you could see literally anything you want? Like, I've been bored in the middle of videos that I like, and I'll just go, you know what? I really want to see girls in bikinis. Click, 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 click. Oop. Sorry about that. Joan, you want to get down? I hear you griping back here. There you go. Or, you know, a lot of times it's just music. One of the things I've been doing is I'll watch a video and put on music in the background. And then the other day, I was watching, I think Styx's, like, rant, his live stream. I put music on in the background. So I had music behind Styx. And then I watched fail videos in another window. Excuse me. So, Colbert can't do that. And Colbert's not even as funny as Colbert used to be. I mean, his politics have ruined him. Absolutely ruined him, in my view. Compare Colbert to Colbert, during his run on the Colbert Show, where he played a right-wing pundit character who satirized the Republicans during the Bush era. But then that was unsustainable during Obama, because had he been following the comedy and not his politics, what should have happened on the Colbert Show is his character should have had a transformation. His character should have become an Obama supporter and a Democrat. And then he should have been making fun of the Democrats. That's what a true comedian would have done. No prisoners. Go for the jugular. He should have been making fun of Obama in his final days of the Colbert Report. Instead, they ended the show because he got I don't know. I guess it's when he got the Late Show. And when he got the Late Show, it was his opportunity to abandon politics. It was an opportunity to say, well, I'm not going to do politics. I'm just going to do the most hilarious show ever. And he didn't do that. Conan O'Brien did a decent show. His show was often funny and not political. I don't know Conan's political positions. I mean, he is liberal, I think. I think he did one thing with Haiti that was stupid and annoying. Yeah, he, for the most part, Conan stayed out of politics, and look what happened to him. He left first. And generally speaking, people liked Conan. They thought he was funny. Jimmy Kimmel, I don't even recognize that dude. I used to watch him on The Man Show. The Man Show was pretty awesome. Him and Adam Carolla. And they had girls in bikinis on trampolines. And it was awesome. And they drank beers, and they, he did this hilarious bit where he pretended to be Karl Malone, a basketball player. And, he is such I think he's a worse betrayer than Colbert. Clint Miller, Jay Leno's last 6 months were pretty based. Yeah, he kind of didn't care. Jay Leno was a great stand-up guy. Like, his monologue, out of all the late-night hosts, Jay Leno's monologues, primo. The best. He had the best jokes, and he delivered them well. His sketches were abominable. His comedy sketches were the worst. His interviewing skills were like, he could get through it, but he wasn't a great interviewer. But man, his comedy sketches, brutally bad. Brutally bad. And then he hired away Stuttering John from the Howard Stern show. Howard didn't like that. Looking back on it, don't care. Another guy who completely disappointed his audience, in my view. Became someone. I mean, it's the old saying: you either live long enough to be, you either die a hero or live long enough to be the villain. It's crazy, but it's true. Crazy. It's just awful how these guys end it. All for what? Money? Craig Ferguson had the best show ever. Other than Letterman. I loved Letterman. In his heyday, Letterman was the absolute best. Towards the end, he got a little full of himself, got a little too much into the Larry King mode of interviewing, which was kind of boring, but Letterman was great for such a long time. But Craig Ferguson was great. The run on his show was great. Why they didn't give him the Late Show? I mean, I bet they're regretting it now. Because he'd not only have #1 ratings, I'd probably still be watching Craig Ferguson. His sketches were great. His monologue was fun. His interviewing style was dynamic. Everything about the Craig Ferguson show was spot on. The only guy who would compare to him is Johnny Carson. And Carson's the original, basically. He set the standard. Craig Ferguson met that standard. Even exceeded it in some ways. Colbert, the only thing he had to offer was his comedy, and he destroyed it. His interviewing skills were meh. Although, I'll say this, when he was in character, he was a fun interview on the Colbert Show. Because he would pretend to be a conservative, and he wasn't. Ardent, yes, he did. Ferguson was my favorite. Know what the best thing about only doing a gaming chill stream on a Saturday? Being able to ditch it. Hello, all. Hello, Ardent. So, I mean, you're looking at a guy, Colbert. He had to interview as himself. Terrible. Not fun. A total suck up to the establishment, in my view. I mean, I just saw a clip on X of Colbert changing the subject when he was interviewing Claire Danes. Now, Claire Danes on a show where she plays a CIA operative, and she's telling a story about how every year, I don't know, they go to the CIA and get briefed on how to be a CIA operative, even though she plays one with all sorts of mental problems or something. I don't know. I don't watch that stupid show. And during the interview, Colbert cuts her off at one portion because somebody implied that, you know, she was saying too much. Clinton Miller, welcome to the party with a D. So yeah, it just, and then, you know, Colbert's fawning interviews with Democrats are disgusting. They're not just bad, they're disgusting. Like, it's one thing to go, okay, I'm only going to interview Democrats, or I'm only going to give Republicans the business, but Democrats, I'll let them drone on and on. It's another to like, oh, thank you, Senator Elizabeth Warren, for coming on the show. Oh, thank you, Nancy Pelosi. Nancy Pelosi? You interview that old hag? She is not a person to be interviewed. There's no reason to interview Nancy Pelosi. None on a late night talk show. Maybe, when you're talking about politics, maybe the people running for president. Maybe. And that's it. That's it. Maybe if there's a senator who escaped a really bad situation and has made the news, or super popular, maybe a quirky, you know, representative from some district who got elected because, I don't know, he wears a mascot costume or something. But you mean to tell me you're going to have the Speaker of the House on just so she could complain about Trump? You disgust me, sir. Ardent, you don't interview Pelosi. You ward her off with garlic. I know. And she's a boring interview anyway. She's halfway to losing it. There's that famous clip of her. She's on, I think, Chuck Todd show or something like that. And there's like a satellite feed. And she says, "Good morning, Sunday morning," apropos of like nothing. I mean, she's that age where she could be losing it. Clint Miller, maybe on a late night, fright night type of show. Yeah. Oh, we'll have lots of monsters on it. We'll have Frankenstein, we'll have the Wolfman, and Nancy Pelosi. Ah! or at least make a joke at her expense if you're going to have these people on. That's what Colbert used to do, by the way. Clint Miller, I remember Dr. Shock presents from decades ago, as do I. I am also that old. So, like what Colbert used to do back on the Daily Show, is he would go into some congressman's office pretending to be a legitimate newsman because he had the look and he was in a suit, and then ask him a bunch of ridiculous questions and embarrass him. And it was fun because that was when the Daily Show was new, and generally speaking, the Republicans were in charge. So I guess for his political alignment, he was okay with that. And the Bush administration was running rampant anyway. So, yeah, that was the time to go after the Bushies. Not really the Democrats. They were mostly irrelevant during that time. Welcome to irrelevancy again, by the way, Democrats. But now, you know, the clear people to make fun of, the clear direction that the comedy's going is the Democrats. Now they're finally starting to turn the ship. Saturday Night Live is actually starting to turn the ship around. But good luck. Good luck now. You could get as based as F. I still won't watch you. F you. What are you going to have? Alec Baldwin on for the umpteenth time to make fun of Trump? He's another one, man. Holy cow. There's a video of him now on X. His wife apparently runs his life. And he just does what she says. So there's a video of Alec Baldwin pretending to be a baby and Hilaria swaddling him. While he's kind of standing behind her, so it's like a fake bundle of towels or something that looks like a little baby, but his head's on her shoulder. It's a bit humiliating. Ardent, I think Colbert actually ripped the idea off from Canadian comedians. Rick Mercer used to do a bit called Talking to Americans, where he would do streeters with random morons. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of that. Clint Miller, Alec Baldwin in the Shootist remake? Ha! Ardent, best one was getting an American poli-sci prof to congratulate our Prime Minister, Tim Horton, on a recent double-double. Yeah, I'm not surprised. Our college professors are pretty stupid. Especially now. My God, they're worse than Colbert, if that's possible. Yeah, Colbert went down this path and never came back. He went down with his politics. He's still going down with his politics. He hasn't changed. He hasn't changed one iota. In fact, I fully expect him to incinerate what's left of his comedy cred by continually going after Trump, because now there's no reason to hold back whatsoever. None. You'd think he'd be like, oh, now I'm doing my thing. Hold on. Let's see. See if my girlfriend gets that. I think she was calling from her cell phone. So she... Yeah, she must have forgot I'm doing this live stream. Hold on. Live stream. There you go. Boom. Ardent, this was more than 20 years ago. The rot runs deep. Oh, wow. 20 years ago. So, in the 90s. Yeah, no, in the 90s, things were not so great. I mean, that was the first sort of prototype of woke. And, gosh, in the 90s, what did we have in the 90s? That was before Bush. So that would have been late Clinton era. And trying to think what was going on then. Clint Miller, if you have to, Tony, take the call and let Joan entertain us. No, I think she got the message. She's not as tech savvy sometimes. I think she would see this text. Or she's watching me on the live stream. Ardent, God damn it, woman, I'm working here. No, she probably just forgot that I was doing a live stream this early. But yeah, so Colbert just, he's a talented guy. He's a talented improver. He came out of improv. So when he did his character on Strangers with Candy, it was pretty funny. So he's capable of being funny, but not when he burned his comedy on the altar of politics. And the weird thing is this, like, my ex-boss, Bill Maher, wasn't a political guy as a comedian. Like, Dennis Miller always was a little bit political, and then it turned out he was a conservative. I didn't know. And which was weird because during the Bush era, he went way into conservatism, and people were like, what's up with Dennis Miller? I didn't really get that change, but it wasn't a change. He was always that way. And it's just funny because he didn't burn his credibility on his politics, really. He just came out with political stuff at a time when conservatives were popular. So for instance, over at MSNBC, before they went super, super left, they actually had Phil Donahue, who's very liberal, on their network, but they decided that they would balance out the network by putting people who were conservative. For every conservative or liberal show, they would have a conservative. But then they counted Phil as 2 liberal shows because he was so liberal at the time. So Dennis Miller was one show, and I forget what the other show was, that were going to be balancing him out. And, that didn't really work either, quite frankly. I think Dennis Miller, who's also talented, but I don't think he burned his, career on politics. I just think he got into politics a little too early, and didn't pull out of it really. And he started doing sports stuff, and I don't know. The problem with comedy too is comedy is a young man's game. I've always said that. Ardent, Morton Downey Jr. counted as 6 conservative shows. I think he was out of his mind. I really do. I think he would have done anything just to be more famous. He was one of those guys. Didn't he fake an attack on himself with skinheads? I think he faked it, right? Wasn't that him? He said he was attacked by skinheads and they shaved part of his head, but it turned out he did it to himself. Something like that. Yeah, so, but Colbert really, there was a time Colbert could have pulled back from the politics, right? Sure, around the election, he could say, mad Trump won, and make a joke about it, and then move on. But he could not move on. He did a bunch of interviews where it was just sad and serious. No one wants to turn into a late night show and see a bunch of serious stuff. That's not the kind of show it is. There's news shows for that kind of stuff. Ardent, he was a proto Jerry Springer. Did he fake an attack? Never heard of that. I'm almost sure he did. It's been so long. I had a friend, he was an actor, and he was on the Morton Downey Jr. show twice or 3 times as different people. He went as different people each time. He played different characters because that's what it was. It was entertainment. Ardent, Colbert is going to end up hosting SE Cable game show if he's lucky. But I mean, quite frankly, he's probably made enough money he could just retire. But I think he's going into the producing end. He's producing some shows. But if his shows are anything like the show he made, forget it, man. He ain't going to be producing for long. No way. No way. I think he's going to end up on something like Netflix. Yeah, that's cable. Or maybe Amazon. Amazon would be an excellent choice because Amazon's still pretty woke. Still pretty woke. They might be pulling out of it. Maybe. It's hard to tell with these guys. You know, they're very corporate. They're always like, well, we don't want to get completely out of the ESG yet. But yeah, I don't think you're going to see much of Colbert. I think he's going to end his show and disappear for at least a year. Now, he's hosting some comedy thing this year. You ought to put that in quotes. Ardent, who were some good comedy producers over the years? I never paid attention. Well, I don't really know too many of them by name. Oh, man. I would say, you know, the guys who, a lot of times it's writers, you know, they'll move into producing. But like Letterman had his own production company, Worldwide Pants. Ardent Chuck Lorre. Yeah, he's a good one, actually. Say what you want about Chuck Lorre. He makes funny shows. He makes funny sitcoms. He don't mess around. You know, it's a shame he had a falling out with Charlie Sheen because I really did like 2.5 Men with him on it. I watched all the reruns of I watched the entire run of 2.5 Men on the reruns. And then once Charlie left, yeah, the show was nothing. I mean, Ashton Kutcher, it just didn't work. It was a convoluted story about how Charlie, they killed his character off, by the way. The joke was on the show, I don't know if you ever watched the show, the main characters were two brothers, Charlie and I forget John Cryer's name on the show. But Charlie, everything worked out for him. Like he was the brother, he was rich, he was famous, he made a lot of money, and he got tons and tons of girls, just like every girl imaginable. His brother, played by John Cryer, was a chiropractor who had a son, and he got divorced, and he got taken to the cleaners, and he had to live with his famous rich brother. Ardent, different vibes with Kutcher, yeah. So the running gag was everything worked out for Charlie and nothing worked out for John Cryer. And then eventually the son aged out of the show. It was on the air so long. Clint Miller, John Cryer was Alan. Right. Okay, Alan. That was his name. I wanted to say Al, but I knew that was wrong. Clint Miller, Cryer is a liberal douche. Yeah, he kind of is. He kind of is. If he had a talk show, it would be just like Colbert's. Even more serious. But that was kind of the fun. Like, John Cryer, it never worked out for him. And there would be beautiful guests on the show, like hot chicks, because Charlie was always banging the hottest girls. One storyline had John Cryer having a hot girlfriend, but then she ruins his life. Ardent, worst Lex Luthor ever. Oops, forgot about that red-headed knob. Yeah, I didn't see him in it. He was Lex Luthor? I think he was, wasn't he? In something. Is that one of the TV ones? I don't remember. Anyhow, Cryer, there was another character in the show who stalked Charlie and was like a regular on the show. She was always breaking into the house because she was obsessed with Charlie, but then they became friends, and somehow that was the weirdness of the show. So the storyline is Charlie finally decided to get married, and he marries his stalker, and they go to London, and he cheats on her, and she pushes him in front of a train and kills him. Ha ha ha. So he wasn't coming back to the show. Ardent, he was the CW Luthor. Yeah, he doesn't strike me as mean enough to play that role. I never saw him in that role. Yeah, he doesn't sound like an Lex Luthor. Same thing with Jesse Eisenberg. Jesse Eisenberg, not mean enough. Ardent, LOL, never marry your stalker. Yeah. I mean, it's kind of funny when you talk about it, but like for the show, it was kind of dark. It's like, oh my God. And like, the weird thing was, John Cryer's character didn't seem that broken up about his brother's death, and then just kept living in his house. And that was funny for a little while, but then they had to do some convoluted story where Ashton Kutcher buys the house, and then Alan gets to keep living there, and they become friends, and then Ashton Kutcher is the new Charlie. It wasn't the same. It was not the same. The only way to make that work, here, I'll do a script doctoring on this. Clint Miller, speaking of Ardent, how's married life? Ardent, you got married? The only way to make that work would have been to have Kutcher. First off, I would have made him his cousin or something. His even more successful cousin. And he would have had to have been 10 times more successful and arrogant as Charlie. Like, even he had to make Charlie look like nothing by comparison. And they just didn't do that. Ardent, I'm single, very single. It did not work out well. Oh, I thought so. I thought it would be weird if you were married all of a sudden. Clint Miller, you kill me, man. Anyhow, getting back to the movies and getting out of Colbert, that was a long tangent, but Colbert, no bueno. No bueno. What were we on? Oh, number 3, F1 the movie. That's doing okay. But I got to tell you, I went to the drive-in to see Superman. The double feature was Superman and F1, and I already paid the ticket. We could have stayed and watched F1. I had no interest. I didn't even think about it. I just said, let's get the hell out of here. Ardent, getting close to a year since we broke up. Yeah, I don't know why he thought you were married. I think he was making a joke. Number 4, How to Train Your Dragon. Another cartoon turned to live action. 1.2 million. Jujutsu Kaisen. Some kind of anime thing. 1.2 million. This is all Thursday numbers. I guess that just premiered yesterday. Ardent, no worries. Number 6 is Elio. Don't know how this thing stays in theaters. No one seems to be interested in it. Number 7, however, is Eddington, premiering. They're saying this is a flop already. I think it's far too early to call it a flop officially because it is an art house movie. It is, however, in 2,000 theaters, over 2,000 theaters. But they're calling Pedro Pascal as his career DOA because of this movie for some reason. Now, it's super political. It takes place during the pandemic. And it's basically, I think, a pandemic guy versus an anti-pandemic guy. I'm not sure which one Pedro Pascal is. I don't think I care because I don't think I'll be seeing this because I don't think it's going to give the anti-pandemic people a fair shake. But I don't know. Are they going to somehow make the anti-pandemic guy the liberal one? I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised if this was rewriting of history, but we'll see. Or, well, I won't see, but I'll hear about it later, I'm sure. So it's called Eddington. I think it's about the election of a sheriff during the pandemic. And Joaquin Phoenix is in it. Pedro Pascal. It also doesn't look like a summer movie on top of being an art house movie. Ardent, we are all expecting Taika Waititi to cast Pascal as Dress. I'm not sure what you're saying. Clint Miller, Pedro's overexposed like my girlfriend and I were at Gunnison Beach, New Jersey. Oh, Dread. Okay. Clint Miller, you are correct. He is overexposed. Overexposed. And you went to a nude beach with your girlfriend? I don't think I could do that. I definitely don't want to do it with my girlfriend because I got sunburn, you may recall, the other week. And it was because we were sitting in the pool and I was trying to stay under, there was an umbrella over the pool, which was nice. I kept staying in the shade. She kept pulling me out into the sun. No, you need color. And that's how I got burned. So I definitely don't want to be out in a nude beach where she's like, no, you need more color down there. I don't want my junk burned. But, Ardent, LOL. Pedro, so, Taika Waititi casting Pascal as Dredd. I think that would be a huge mistake. Now, Carl Urban is a very viable, I think he's an A-lister now. Is he an A-lister? He's pretty close to an A-lister. I mean, the Mortal Kombat movie will probably do pretty well. I'm guessing the Mortal Kombat movie, it doesn't look bad. It looks fun. Looks like a good summer movie. I think it'll do okay. It's based on a video game. They're doing well. Clint Miller, I don't really have the body for it, frankly. Ardent, nude beach, and parlor do not mix. Urban is at least A adjacent. Yeah. So, I don't think there's any reason to recast Dredd. But he might. I mean, Carl might not want to do it. He might not like the script. He might be getting better offers. They may not give him the money. Keep in mind, Taika Waititi, that's a demotion for him. He's going from the MCU to Dredd. I mean, that sounds like a big drop. So Carl may be too big for that movie. He may just turn it down outright, or more likely, Taika Waititi will be recasting it with his own dude, and yeah, Pedro Pascal would be on his list of dudes, because he's worked with him before, I think. Has he? Oh, maybe not. I don't know. Who would be on the list of Taika Waititi's guys he's worked with? Who would work with him again is the question. I don't think any of the guys on Love and Thunder want to work with him again, but Chris Hemsworth can look like Judge Dredd. I'm sure he could sound like him just by going... Rrr, 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 rrr. Ardent, Waititi doesn't have the right style for Dredd either. Dear gods, what if he cast Ruffalo? Oh, come on. Not even he is that ridiculous. First off, the word is he's going to do a more comedic Dredd. So it's probably going to be ridiculous. So a lighter Dredd would definitely be Hemsworth, but not Ruffalo. Ruffalo would be like, Judge Dredd goes after the Catholic Church. You know, and that's not going to happen either. So, quite frankly, maybe the project will never happen. Um, yeah, I mean, he could cast one of the what's his face? Oh God, the guy from those amazing Concords, but he's not good for it. Ardent Paul Rudd as Judge Dredd? No, no, I don't think so. He'll cast a muscle guy. You know who he might get stuck with is one of the wrestlers coming out of the WWE or something, because they're trying to turn that into a assembly line of movie stars. Good luck. I think that's over. I think John Cena is going to be the last wrestling movie star, in my opinion. Ardent, that's true. It might not happen. Getting a Dread movie made has always been a challenge. I don't know why. The Carl Urban one's great. Everybody likes that one. Part of the reason that one's great, though, is the villain in that is really good. It's played by, what's-her-face, Cersei from Game of Thrones. She's great. She's great in that. Carl Urban's great. You got a perfect storm of greatness in that movie. So, that's what you need. You need a good villain for Dredd. And Carl Urban's a good Dredd. He kept a mask on. Ardent, Roman Reigns, maybe. I think he's at that point of his wrestling career. Lena Headey. Yeah, Lena Headey. Maybe. But wrestlers, for my money, they can't act. Batista can't really act. He was good as Drax. And I think that's mostly because he was in an ensemble cast. He didn't have a lot of lines. And James Gunn really directed him. So under those circumstances, he's good. Under circumstances where he actually has to carry a movie, no. Same thing with John Cena. He's kind of a one-note guy. Probably if you lined up Dwayne Dave Bautista, and John Cena, Dwayne Johnson, and Dave Bautista. Out of the three of them, I guess I would give the edge now to John Cena from what I've seen. But he always plays himself, kind of. He's okay. I don't like him because of what he did during the whole apologize to China fiasco. I think that was a major, major flub. I don't know how anybody can even watch that guy. But people still do. He's Peacemaker. So, number 7 is Lilo and Stitch, still in theaters. 483,000. Again, these are Thursday numbers. Ardent, Statham might be okay, but the writer and director would really matter with him. He ain't going to do it. He ain't going to cover up his face. Although it would be cool. He'd have the moves. Clint Miller. George Clooney plays himself. In what? Dredd? And Dredd shoots him? Oh, you mean George Clooney's always the same. I got it. Yeah, for the most part. He's a little different in From Dusk Till Dawn, but it's just variations on Clooney. Clooney's eye candy for the ladies, right? So he had his run, and now he's super political too. I mean, I'd be shocked if Clooney didn't run for like California governor or something eventually. He could get elected too. I mean, he's still handsome enough that he'd get elected, and he has a ridiculous amount of money. Clooney was one of the first celebrities to get in on the celebrity tequila thing. All the celebrities, Dwayne Johnson included, have their own tequila brands and other distilleries and whatnot. Actually, Dan Aykroyd was probably before him, but Clooney did it big. He started a tequila brand and sold it for $1 billion with a B. So he is worth a S-ton of money now. Ardent, what about the Reacher guy, Alan Ritchson, isn't it? Yeah, they're talking about him for Batman in the DCU. he may be like Carl Urban, too big for the movie. They may just cast an unknown in Dread. A mostly unknown. It'll be a guy who's been in stuff, but they'll just find a muscular actor who can do the voice. But I don't know about Alan Ritchson. He's blowing up. He's done some movies. I don't think they've done very well. But yeah, they may give him DCU Batman, which will be weird. He is another guy whose politics have completely turned me off. It just came out of nowhere. You know, one minute he's on Reacher, doing really well. Then the next season of Reacher comes out, and it's kind of like, not as good as the first one. What happened? Next thing you know, he's spouting all sorts of nonsense. Ardent, Dan Aykroyd was first with Patron. Reynolds has Aviation Gin. There's a few others. Conor McGregor was pushing a brand of Irish Stout. Diddy had his own. He was pretty early. He was like after Clooney, I think. So how's that brand doing? The guys over at the Tri Channel had a celebrity booze taste test thing once. The thing about Aykroyd's is his was in a glass skull. That was pretty badass. But yeah, Aykroyd was first, and then I think Clooney was like close to second. Ardent, Richson played it kind of flamboyantly gay in the Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare. Really? He was gay in that? Oh boy. Yeah, I don't know how these guys don't understand their audience at all. That first Reacher show is the first season of that Reacher show is absolute gangbusters. I don't know why you wouldn't look at that show and go, man, that was amazing. Let's keep doing that. But Ardent, pretty sure he got roundly criticized over that. Ardent, right. Aykroyd had a Crystal Skull vodka. That was it. And people really like it mainly for that bottle, too, because it's just cool to have the bottle. It's a brilliant piece of marketing. But somehow Clooney made $1 billion off of his, and that ain't chump change when you got $1 billion. And at that point, what do you even need movies? You got $1 billion. I don't know why you'd do anything. And he hasn't been in anything in a while, and I guess it's just, at this point, it's just fun for him. Lilo and Stitch, we did that one. 28 years later, 300,000. That's going away in its 28th day. Huh. Mission Impossible, somehow still in theaters, 197. Ardent, stuff is trash, by the way. It's only the bottle that, you just said it. Really? So the booze is trash, huh? I had no idea. I don't drink, so. Mithrigan is at number 10, 154,000. And the numbers don't even matter. It's Thursday. There's almost nothing here. Materialist. Then Sorry Baby, the Phoenician Scheme, which I did review. It's not great. Yeah. The Life of Chuck, From the World of John Wick, Ballerina, Final Destination, Bloodlines. Abraham's Boys, which I do like. I like the look of that one. $9,400. Now we're into the thousands. Sinners is still in theaters. That's pretty good, I thought. Don't Let's Go to the Dogs. Jane Austen's Wrecked My Life. I love that title. Hearts of Darkness. What is this one? Hearts of Darkness. A Filmmaker's Apocalypse. Oh, they put this back in the theaters. I've seen this. This is really good. Made $1.3 million back in theaters. Ardent, did you see the story about George R.R. Martin claiming Jaime Lannister could beat Aragon? Hilarious. I need to watch Sinners for Monday, I think. Yeah, it's pretty good. There is one scene you'll go, oh my God, why is this in here? Just try to ignore it and move on. It gets better. It takes a while for the vampires to show up, so just be aware. Ardent, I need to watch that. Oh, I read that. Blah, 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 blah. So, wow. Hearts of Darkness going back into theaters. Thunderbolts, don't care. Ran, I also reviewed that. Dragonheart Adventures. Ran's okay. It's kind of boring. It's a classic. A Man and a Woman. Don't know what that is. What is that? A Man and a Woman. That's another old movie, apparently. 1966. What is this? When Widow Anne and Widower Jean-Louise meet at their respective children's boarding school, a budding romance blossoms into the shadow of their former relationships. Okay? So it's a drama. I guess it's a classic if it's from 1996. A Man and a Woman. The Unholy Trinity. That's a Western. Let me see this movie. A Man and a Woman. Who made this thing? Claude Lelouch. Yeah, it's very French, apparently. I don't know why this movie's famous. Ardent. French? No, merci. Oh, it's in black and white, too. That was a thing in 1966. All right, so the box office for Thursday is 24 million. And again, on Sunday, I'm going to try to do, I'll do at least a video. I'm going to try to do a short live stream Sunday night at some point. But that'll be after my 7 o'clock event, which is all the way in Hamilton. And I won't be done to 8 or 8:30, and I won't get home till 9 or 10. So it's going to be late if I do it at all. But I do want to go back and look at the Superman numbers on Sunday night, because that's going to be very interesting. I think this movie has legs, so I'm calling it. All right, moving on. Colbert cancellation is a chilling sign. With one network now opting out of late night talk entirely, how long will it be before the genre just goes away? Not soon enough. I would say leave Jimmy Fallon. Leave one of them up. Fallon's not too bad. I never thought he was funny, but he seems earnest at least. Ardent, theme for Sunday. What old film would you like to see in theaters that you never got a chance? I don't know. It would have to be something that, has something that would be like sweeping vistas kind of thing. Back in the day in college, I used to go to, they had like a movie night on the other campus, the other college, and they would show all kinds of movies. I saw Koyaanisqatsi, which wasn't current at the time, and a bunch of other movies. Maybe something like, Midnight Cowboy, or, movie like that, like a classic old movie. Maybe the Marathon Man. I really like Marathon Man. That's a great film. Ardent, the internet guys have taken over the talk show space in a lot of ways. Yes. Yeah, I mean, it's taken over TV. Television was the internet of my age. Back in the 80s, you watch TV. There was no internet. You watched TV. And that's how you stayed current. And that's what you talked about when you went to work. What'd you watch on TV last night? Oh, I watched this or that. Ardent, something like Josie Wales for me. Ooh, that would be good too. Yeah. Those movies. Or like, The Good, the Bad, the Ugly. all the spaghetti westerns. That'd be fun. That'd be fun. They do that once in a while somewhere, I'm sure. Yeah, I think Kimmel is next. And then one of the guys that might survive would be like Seth Meyers, because I don't think his show's that expensive to begin with, but he's just basically Colbert light. That's all he is. In my opinion, he's just like Colbert. In fact, one of my older relatives showed me a clip of his because he was doing one of his semi-serious comedy bits about Trump. And I was just like, why are you showing me this? Let's see. Nicole Kidman is on the set of Practical Magic 2, so run. Tyler, the Creator, reveals new album Don't Tap the Glass will release on Monday. I never got into Tyler, the Creator. He had a show on Adult Swim that was a comedy show. I think it was called Loiter Squad. I mean, sometimes it would be funny, and then other times you'd just be like, what are you doing? What is this? Let's see. Taylor Russell exits Michael B. Jordan's The Thomas Crown Affair remake. I don't know why they're remaking that movie. It's way too soon to remake The Thomas Crown Affair. And all they're doing is making a black version of The Thomas Crown Affair. I like Michael B. Jordan. I think this is a dumb move. There's plenty of other movies he could remake. Pick anything. You know, if you want to remake something like that, pick like a film noir movie from the 40s that no one's seen in 70 years, and yeah, remake that. That would be cool. Jimmy Kimmel says F you CBS for canceling The Late Show with Stephen Colbert as speculation stirs if the series is ending for political reasons. No one's speculating that. No one cares. That's another reason it is ending, is because all these guys have the same politics. You don't need this many channels with the same friggin' politics. Ardent, The Thomas Crown Affair with Bronson and Russo was a remake. Yeah. Clint Miller, Practical Magic. I thought it was a nice story that doesn't need to be exhumed. That's a good word for it. Exhumed. Ardent, oh yeah, Jimmy Kimmel's gone. Yeah, I think they already announced the ending of his show. Let me see if I can find that. Kimmel signed a 3-year contract extension in 2022, ensuring his role until at least the 25-26 season. Despite Kimmel hinting early in 2024 his current contract might be his last. In July 2025, it went on hiatus, but this was a temporary break. This is the AI, so take it with a grain of salt. Ardent, oh, I was making a prediction. Yeah, no, I vaguely remember that. I must have remembered this story from a while back. So I guess he's not ending the show? Did not announce. Yeah, there was some speculation at some point. I thought they announced the ending, but I guess not. But, you know, give it time. Give it time. But here's another bit of news. Jon Stewart says, I honestly don't know about The Daily Show's future after Paramount Skydance merger. They may sell the whole effing place for parts. Good. So maybe The Daily Show would be gone too. To which I say, good. Imagine that. Our cup runneth over. Colbert and The Daily Show. Kaput. Oh. If John Oliver suddenly retires, wow. But I don't know. I don't know anybody who watches him, really. I see the clips on YouTube all the time, but I know of zero people who watch John Oliver. Oh, except one of my older relatives. I think she watched him for a while. So that would be hilarious if the Daily Show went too. And then I was saying last night on Hollywoke Hot Take, how funny would it be if Jon Stewart was doing the last Daily Show and then Stephen Colbert shows up to, pay his respects on the last show and says, well, you may have heard I'm looking for a new job, John. You always said I could come back here. That would be pretty funny. Ardent, I think the only people who watch John Oliver are the ones who just react to him. Yeah, we're heading into that realm, which I predicted a while ago. The people who do anti-woke stuff are running out of material. They're scraping the bottom of the barrel looking for anything to talk about. Because there was so much, we had such a embarrassment of riches for such a long time. It was easy to talk about woke stuff, right? You could always find something. Somebody was saying something insane like men are women and marriage is a death sentence or whatever, just the craziest stuff you'd ever hear. But now I see not only is there not enough of that going on, it's not as outrageous as it was. People are now recycling headlines from like 5 years ago because they're desperate to do the same shtick. And they see it as popular, and now there are too many of those guys too. So you got to have something else to say. You got to have a new angle. And a lot of guys they don't have an angle. They just don't know what to talk about. And then they find something like being anti-woke to talk about, and then it runs out of gas, and then what are you supposed to do? Trump celebrates Congress pulling $1.1 billion in funding from atrocious NPR and PBS. This is long overdue. Ardent. LOL, Andrew Tate getting roasted for his stance on marriage because Pierce Bronson's woman, after 4 kids, got a little chunkier. Yeah, that was really mean. I think people going to town on Bronson's wife, that's so wrong. Number one, she's not a public person. Now, you can argue, well, she's married to Pierce Bronson, but they've been married a long time. Guy's got a good marriage. What are you going after him for? That's a guy, as handsome as he is, he could have been cheating on his wife left and right, and they're still together. I don't know that for sure, but I think it's obvious that he's been faithful to his wife, and they have a good marriage. What are you going to get on the guy's wife for? That is terrible. That is absolutely terrible. And Pierce is a funny guy. He's cool. He went to Yosemite Park and he went into one of those pools you're not supposed to go to because you could be scalded to death if the geyser goes off. He didn't care. He got caught and then he got fined or something. Ardent, it was collateral damage from Jennifer Love Hewitt's weight gain and she's still a smoke show. Yeah, I didn't see, yeah, she's a little heavier. She's older. Who cares? Who cares? The only thing I'll say about her is, number one, she is a public figure, and number two, she was known for her looks. But, so it's a little more fair to at least talk about Jennifer Love Hewitt. But Adam Tate is such a tool. Come on. Guy's a tool. He's another guy who'll say anything to get attention, I think. But thank God they finally pulled the funding off of these clowns. These people were not... Look, in America, we don't have state-run media, allegedly. And this stuff was funded, at least in part, by the government. Ardent, I care. I want one. The reason this was funded by the government back in the day was PBS did Sesame Street, which was educational. So some of the stuff is it was about education, right? And NPR back in the day played jazz and a bunch of other stuff that was like mostly educational or considered more academic. It was really the NPR was sort of the academic channel. PBS was like the stuff you couldn't get on regular channels channel. So it had Sesame Street, Mr. Rogers, the Electric Company, and then later in the evening it would have stuff from the BBC. I would watch Monty Python, but they also had a bunch of the famous BBC shows at that time. Oh, God. Yes Minister, I think, is one of them. One of the shows like that. And that was because Ardent, didn't NPR have Rush Limbaugh for a while? Man, I don't remember that. Maybe. I doubt it, though. So, the problem with all these things, Ardent, Bob Ross, Red Dwarf, Doctor Who, yep, all that stuff. But now, the internet, you don't really need, and the BBC has its own channel in America, so it doesn't need PBS. So NPR has gotten way political. Now, it was liberal to begin with, but it was sort of liberal the way it was, say, 40 years ago. 40 years ago, people in the media were liberal, but they weren't crazy. They were just, a lot of them were genuinely truthful people. They just happened to be liberal. And some of their bias would come through, but it wouldn't be like crazy. Now, Ardent, Are You Being Served? That was the show I was trying to think of. So, you know, it was fine for a while, but Trump drove them absolutely insane. And there were a couple attempts back in the 2000s, I think, to defund PBS that failed. Ardent, well, weren't they publicly crazy? Yes. And then they just became totally insane. The woman who runs, I think, PBS, came out with some insane thing about free speech, how, like, really, yeah, she needs to be in charge of free speech. Or rather, people need to be in charge of free speech. You can't just have free speech. I mean, it was some kind of insane statement like that. And they've just gotten more and more political. They're super political now. And they're super, super left. They have to go. They violated every tenet of the initial sort of formation. These were formed specifically not to be political. It was like, you can't be political because you're accepting taxpayer money. You absolutely cannot do politics. They're doing politics day and night. But they don't call it politics. What they'll call it is news. Well, we're not political. We're just telling the truth. But the truth is so friggin' biased. Yeah, they're being political. So you're not reporting the news where you call, you know, Trump Orange Hitler. You are not reporting the news. So yeah, I think they should be gone. I mean, look, if liberals love these channels so much, support them, fund them. I don't want to fund them, not anymore. Back in the day, I thought about it because I used to watch it. I used to watch Doctor Who and Monty Python so much, I thought about sending them $5, but now, you couldn't get 10 cents out of me. And all that stuff is on its own channel or it's on the internet. So the function, whatever function these entities had, it's just not needed. It's on the internet. You can find jazz and whatever you want on the internet. So the people who sort of listen to that stuff, they have gravitated away from PBS and NPR. So who's left? It's all the hardcore liberals who want to hear more of their political stance. And quite frankly, they can hear more of that on the internet too. There's plenty of places for that on the internet. So there's just no reason to have this anymore. It's an obsolete model, and yeah, pull the funding and let them live or die by their own merits. I think Sesame Street will be fine, by the way. Somebody will buy it. Mr. Rogers, I don't know, are they still making that? The electric company? I mean, all that stuff. They got a library, so I guess they could put the library up. So, yeah. Box office, Superman still on top. I Know What You Did Last Summer hooks 5.8 million opening day, ahead of Eddington and Smurfs. So let's see. We may have some more numbers here. DC Studios Universe Rebooter earned 16.6 million on second Friday. Its domestic is now 194.4 million. Factoring out preview screenings from the last week's opening day's gross, that's a 50% drop. Solid. That's solid. 50%, perfectly fine. Anything less than that, you're starting to weaken. So, okay. The Warner Brothers release has pushed ahead a fellow superhero feature, Thunderbolts, now ranked as the 8th highest grossing North American release of the calendar year. So, Superman could fly to 235 million domestic total through its first 10 days. At a production cost of 225 million, Superman will need to keep up the week-to-week holds, but DC Studios and Warner Bros. Look to show their comic book continuity has staying power. And then they talk about the other movies. I Know What You Did Last Summer. Looks like it's going to have 5.8 million across Friday. Looking at about 13 million. No breakout franchise revival. So it only costs 18 million though. So I Know What You Did Last Summer is going to make its money easily. And then you got Smurfs earn 4 million. The New York Post guy hated this movie. Currently looking for a 3-day opening of 12 million in 4th place. The opening of A24's dread-infused COVID pandemic period piece, Eddington, took in roughly 1.8 million from 2,111 venues across Friday. That is no bueno. The film will struggle to meet its pre-weekend forecast for a $5 million debut. Oof. There's a lot of big names in this, too. So that is no bueno. So that's the box office as it stands. So I think Superman's going to do 50%. Oh, here's Arnold trying to promote his son Patrick Schwarzenegger's career. I don't know, man. He's doing incest kissing scenes on the White Lotus. Gross. But then again, the rumor is Arnold did some like nude films, like not X-rated films or anything, but films in which he like posed back when he was Muscle Guy in Europe, because they made a joke about that on The Simpsons with McBain. Like there's this scene where McBain is having a yard sale. I think he got divorced or something, so he's got to sell a bunch of his movie stuff, and Homer's going through his old movies, and so Homer's flipping through the videotapes, and he goes, are any of these hetero? And McBain goes, what's there is there. So I think that was the rumor, but I never heard the full story, so I'm not sure. So I guess he did some like nude movies because he was so muscular. They wanted to, I don't know, get film of him naked. All right. Daredevil. This is a weird headline. I got to read this one. Daredevil meets Wiccan, Charlie Cox, and Joe Locke on Marvel comebacks, body changes, and not getting limited to skinny gay twink roles. What? What are you talking about? Are you talking about skinny gay twinks like that's an actual classification in mainstream movies? Variety, pull it back. Itchy. Oh man, I got such a nosebleed last night. I'm a little paranoid. Once in a while, if something hits my nose the wrong way, I will get a nosebleed like you wouldn't believe. Like it just gushes out of my head until it stops. But Ardent, in the comics, Wiccan is a twink. Okay. So, right. Is he gay? Is there some sort of relationship going on in the comics? I don't know. I never heard of that. Fandom Pulse. Colbert out. Fantastic Four looks dire. Jaguar layoffs. Fandom Pulse daily briefing. That's what we want. The illusion of casting. Why the idea of Hunter Schafer as Zelda was always doomed to break. I will say that Hunter Schafer, for all his weird looks, didn't look too bad in the movie I saw him in a few months back. And I'll also give him credit. Like, he didn't make a huge deal about his trans stuff in the movie. He was just sort of in it. But as Zelda, no. Nobody wants to see that. Because in a movie, in a role like Zelda, it's all about the princess and the look, and people are going to be hyper focused on that. Can't have a dude. You absolutely cannot have a dude. I think this was a rumor that started online, and now people are mad for no reason. As always, another day on the internet. Hey, everybody's mad. Why? Oh, this is a stupid reason. Ardent, yeah, he's got an alien fake Hulk for a lover. What? Oh my god, that's got to be like Marvel Comics 2020 then. I am so out of the loop. A new Batman animated movie depicts the Joker and Two-Face as Spanish conquistadors while Batman is a human sacrificing pagan. This is Aztec Batman Clash of the Empires. Yeah, I don't want to see that. Look, the Elseworld stuff was kind of cool. At least in the beginning. They did a Western Batman that was pretty good. Where he actually kills people. And uses guns. But, yeah, I mean, out of all the Batmans, I mean, they had Gotham by Gaslight. It was like Batman as Sherlock Holmes, Batman versus Dracula. Where the hell's all that stuff? That to me would have been the first Elseworld stuff you would have translated. This was a bit further downstream and not particularly great in my view, but okay, I get it. We got to do something against colonization because that's so in vogue in Europe. And whatever we do in Hollywood, we got to make sure it's in vogue in Europe for some odd reason. Because we're all rich Nepo babies who go to Europe every other weekend and get influenced by them. And they're a bunch of communists, and we're going to do communist stuff here in the United States. Because we haven't learned our lesson yet. Because we don't talk to our own people. We don't vacation out in the Midwest where normal people go. We go all over the world where we learn things from other countries that are apparently bad. Ardent, I enjoyed the Batman vs. Predator comic series, multiple series. Yeah, that was pretty good. I liked the first one. I didn't read the ones after, but that would be a good... Oh, that'd be... how big would that movie be? But Warner Brothers doesn't... I think, was Disney own the Predator now? I think because it was under Fox. I don't know. Who owns The Predator? Let's see. I'll ask the AI. Who owns the Predator movies? Disney. Crap. Yeah, so you won't be seeing that. It's a shame. Alright, let's see if we can do this without messing this up. CBS shuts down The Late Show with Stephen Colbert, says it's purely a financial decision. I wouldn't be surprised if the math bears that out. There's a lot of overhead here, and you got to pay Colbert. And Colbert is still at a point in his career where he may think, oh, these guys aren't paying me? Screw these guys. I got plenty of other offers. Ardent, yep, Disney owns The Predator. Maybe we'll get Wolverine versus Predator. That wouldn't be the same. To me, Predator versus a normal guy like Batman would be more exciting. Maybe Predator versus Daredevil. YouTube Valrack delivers sarcastic apology to Games Workshop over Horus Heresy 3.0 backlash. Not sure what this is about, but okay. Games Workshop isn't doing its fans any favors from some of the articles I've read. Fantastic Four actor admits they were workshopping the movie when production began because the script was not completed. What the hell does that mean? Ugh. I'm trying not to have a brain aneurysm to reading that headline. Jesus. As a screenwriter, this is insane to me. Because any screenwriter worth his salt can bang out a screenplay in about a week. Easy. A Fantastic Four, I could literally bang that out in a day. 100%. 100%. A day, no problem. It would be a totally viable screenplay. However, when you're jamming it full of the message and corporate stuff and all the screw-ups that the MCU has initiated, well, it would take a little longer, I guess, to incorporate all those notes. There's absolutely no excuse for this, though. None. Zero excuse. I think what they really mean is the micromanaged script wasn't completed because corporate wouldn't approve it, would be my guess. It would be my guess that they had several scripts, and corporate was like, well, we're not sure what we're going with, but you could start shooting this portion of the script, and we'll get back to you on the second and third acts. Something like that. Oh, what a way to shoot a movie. It must be a nightmare. It must be a nightmare. But think of the kind of creative person you have to be okay with this process, right? Guys, the movie, the script hasn't been approved yet. So we're just going to start shooting because, the date's coming up. So we can shoot certain scenes, but corporate's going to get back to us to see which scenes we can shoot. Like, I get it. There are changes on a movie on the set. That's why they punch those holes in the script and use these braids. Because when they make changes, they pull out the braids and they could stick the new pages in, different colors for the changes. And people could read them and get caught up. But this is ridiculous. You have to at least start with an approved screenplay. And I don't know who's holding up this process for sure, but I suspect it's corporate. Those guys shouldn't even be involved. Involving the corporate guys in the creative end would be like inviting the creative guys in to the financial meetings. You want those guys in? No, you don't. They're terrible with money. like Nicolas Cage. You don't want him in a financial meeting, I don't think. You know, you want a screenplay, and this is the problem with studio execs now. The old-time Hollywood guys were like, hey, kid, you got it. You got it. And I'm confident you can make a good movie. So you got your screenplay here? All right, I've read it. I like it. Okay, let's go make this movie. Like, that's kind of the way it was. Sort of. Not really, but kind of. You know, now we have, like, I don't know what's going on. There's way too many versions. Zebek's Demise is here. Brad's, not braids. Thank you. How's everyone doing? I think okay. I had a nice lunch. You missed that earlier. If you want to see me devour something, watch the beginning of this video. But eventually, you know, they would just say, okay, the script's done. Go make the movie, and we'll let you make the movie because you're the creative. But you can't have executives trying to be creatives. They're just terrible at it. They spent their lives working on their MBAs, learning ways to make more money. They didn't spend their lives doing creative stuff. Now, granted, creative people, they can get out of control, they can spend too much money, and you have to sit on them. But under the current studio system, what happens? Well, you get a guy like Taika Waititi. Oh, he's the hottest guy. Oh, he's the hottest guy in Hollywood. Okay, let's give him a movie. Let's give him a bunch of money. And then you just cut him loose. You do the opposite. That's bad too. Even a guy who's your hot director or whatever, you say, yeah, we're going to mostly leave you alone, but we're going to monitor you, see that you're not doing something crazy with our money. Ardent, 2 streams already today and now watching Tony. Zebek's Demise, been listening to my iPad. They won't let me chat there anymore for some reason. Ardent, how you doing, XD? I've had loads of issue with chat on YT Mobile for months. Zebek's Demise, good at Ardent Party. So there's no excuse for this. They spend how many hundreds of millions of dollars on the Fantastic Four movie, and you're telling me they started shooting this without a script, without a complete script, without a draft. You could always change stuff. You can always change stuff. But you're not supposed to change a lot, okay? You're not supposed to change a lot. So the stupid idea, and this is stupid, that Sue Storm is the leader of the Fantastic Four, you float that out there into the entertainment sphere, and then it gets such a huge backlash, you go, oh, this was a dumb idea. Go back and change the script so she's not the leader anymore. And then you go back and you just shoot a couple of different scenes, a couple of different lines to put it back on Reed as opposed to Sue. That's a change. I mean, you shouldn't have had to make that change, but okay. They're not doing that, by the way. Sue Storm is the leader of the Fantastic Four in the movie because Hollywood can't help but tell us all how to live our lives. Oh, yes, the paragons of virtue that live in Hollywood, that with their trans and non-binary children and their multiple affairs and marriages and drug addiction and stupid things they do, they get to tell us through their movies how to live, because the teeming masses for them don't love what they love enough. They're not virtue signaling enough for their liking, so they're going to tell us how to live. Go F yourself. There's no excuse for this. For a movie like The Fantastic Four, there are literally hundreds of comics with stories in them that are completed. You couldn't just pick one. Ardent, Hollywood is full of morons then. If Sue is the leader, why were the reporters in the trailers asking Reed if he was going to save them? I think that's just the way that trailer's cut. Zebek's Demise, Hollywood always known for being normal, upstanding citizens. Yeah, right. Yeah. Pedro Pascal's Reed Richards to lead the Fantastic Four. It says, what? That's not what I heard. Maybe they already recut it. Maybe they recut it. It's possible. It's possible. This is Matt Shankman or Shackman saying that, oh no, he's going to lead the Avengers. That's going to be later. That's going to be in the next movie, not in the Fantastic Four. That's going to be too late. Fantastic Four will bomb, and then they're going to try to make up for it in Doomsday, and no one's going to see the damn thing. Everybody's going to go, see it on streaming. I'll pirate it later. I don't pirate, by the way, but other people do. Jaguar to lay off 500 management jobs in UK after degenerate rebrand. That, there's no other word for it. This was degenerate. I mean, look at this picture. This was their actual commercial for Jaguar. Now, I had a relative who bought a Jag. He was an older guy, retired, rich. That's the kind of car you buy. When you're retired and rich, you buy a Jag. Because it spends most of its time in the shop, from what I understand. But, yeah. So, it was ridiculous. A ridiculous rebrand. For who? For who? Who is going to watch this and go, oh my God, I got to get a Jaguar? I mean, what? How many rainbow people do you think there are with the money to buy a Jag? To waste on a Jag, I'll say. Because I think it's a waste. It's like a 50, isn't it like a, well, now cars are all $50,000, but it's like I would say $75,000 car. And then the new one looked kind of like a Cybertruck or whatever. What the F are you doing? Even if you're in the rainbow community, I can't imagine this commercial would appeal to you. You know, gay people are just like everybody else. They can see things and goes, oh, that's stupid. I happen to be gay, but that looks pretty stupid. Like the whole reason, I mean, you don't think a gay person can like a classy car like a Jaguar? You have to gay it up for him? This is the dumbest thing I've ever seen. Aren't it? Not only that bug was rebrand, the rebrand was because Jag is completely ending their gas engine division all electric when they start releasing the new models. Oh, God, that's the end of them. Goodbye, Jag. Goodbye. Star Trek turns Christian as Captain Pike prays the Lord's Prayer in the Strange New Worlds in Season 3 premiere. I don't care. That's not going to get me back to Star Trek. It wasn't about religion. It was about science. It's a pathetic attempt to draw in viewers, isn't it? Now, JDA, who runs Fandom Pulse, touted this as a win. I don't think it's a win. I think it's pandering. I think you should ignore it. Don't go running back to Star Trek just because they jammed in the Lord's Prayer. What? Why? Because they're trying to right the ship. It's Pike, not Kirk. Oh, well, whatever. Did I say Kirk? That's because it should be Kirk. Because it should be Shatner. All right, moving on. I gotta step things up. More on Colbert. The awful optics of CBS canceling The Late Show with Stephen Colbert. Does the end of the Colbert Show in May of 2026 relate to the Paramount Skydance merger, to Colbert's criticism of Donald Trump, to the defense of the demise of late night television? Who is to say? Shut up, Hollywood Reporter. Hollywood has a hidden role in the Epstein Files intrigue. Oh, yeah, I don't think it's so hidden. A hidden role, you say? Yeah, I think when half the people on the plane were probably from Hollywood or worked in Hollywood, yeah, I think it wasn't that so hidden. Ardent, yeah, pandering, transparent as hell. If they want to really try and draw Christians, no, I thought it was Kirk for a second. They build up a show from the ground up, actually non-caricature Christian characters. Yeah, yeah, no, they need a complete redo. But I think it's funny that the people who are doing the gayest Star Trek in the universe suddenly now, I can only imagine the writers' meeting. All right, everybody. All right, let's all come in. Listen, for season 3, we've been told that we have to do something to appeal to Trump voters. What? Like the room erupts. Now we all hate Trump. Isn't that correct? Yeah, well, we all hate Trump. Oh, I hate him too. I hate him more than you. All right. We all hate Trump. But we need to bring some of these ignorant, deeply racist, and homophobic viewers back to our show. What? This is around. And there's a big argument. People saying stuff, giving their 2-bit political opinions that they saw on MSNBC for a few minutes. All right, yeah, granted, Joy Reid is right about most things, and it's a shame they took her off the air. But we are going to have to appeal to. So what we're going to do is we're going to have Captain Pike say the Lord's Prayer. What? I'm friends with Mark Ruffalo, who'll be very upset. Yeah, well. We'll do it in such a way that maybe in the background we'll have something ironic, but, you know, we're going to have him say the Lord's Prayer. We're going to try to bring in some of these numbskulls who we hate viciously. We hate these people, but we want to try to get them to watch our show. So let's throw in the Lord's Prayer and see what that does. I mean, that's what the corporate's telling me to do. So we have no choice. We don't want to do this. We hate Christians and America, but we have to. And that was my little play, The Writer's Room at Strange New Worlds. Thank you. Thank you for that. Ardent, as hidden as a soda voice, Vachi stage whisper. Carter Chain is here. Whoa, midday stream. Yes, it is. Ardent says, hello. Ardent, LOL, those are where Keith Overman gets fans. The writer's room. Yes. All right. What will Stephen Colbert do after the Late Show ends? He has options. Oh, let's dip into this. Running down Colbert's possible futures. Now CBS has admitted the late night format is broken. Oh, it's behind a paywall. I don't really care. There he is with Letterman. Yeah, he'll grow a beard and go crazy like Letterman. I'm just kidding. He'll just probably produce shows. He'll try to do a new show, probably on something like Netflix or Amazon. Big money, and it'll torpedo itself in a year because Amazon will be like, we're not making any money on this thing, and we're spending like $5 million an episode. Mayim Bialik's Webby Award-winning podcast breakdown partners with Impact Theory. I don't know how she keeps getting work, but she does. James Gunn says casting for new Wonder Woman hasn't started yet, but the film is a priority. Just get somebody super hot, James. Super hot. Diddy and the Deep State. Wow. Oh, finally throwing Diddy under the bus. Interesting. Shannon Sharp settles a $50 million rape lawsuit. How do you settle that? Spider-Man Beyond the Spider-Verse moves to the end of June 2027. I don't care. It's not... I haven't watched any of the cartoons. I hear the first one's decent, but... When did Superman become so controversial? Oh my God. Why? Why, Hollywood? Why do you refuse to learn anything about comic book fans? My God, it's so freaking obvious. It couldn't be more obvious if you knew one GD thing about comic book fans. Just one. Why are they complaining? There's a Superman. We put in a Superman. The Superman's in it, right? Why are they complaining? We wanted to make him black and gay, but we said, okay, we gave you a Superman that's not black and gay. Why don't you like it, bigots? Why? They just don't get it. They just don't get it. All right, moving on. Bounding into comics, James Gunn comments more on canceled DC film, leading everyone to believe it was Swamp Thing and not Sergeant Rock. Out of those two, I would do Swamp Thing before I do Sergeant Rock. Sergeant Rock, I don't know what you're going to do. Unless it's like Sergeant Rock versus Dracula or something cool like that. More on Taika Waititi directing Dread. Mr. Terrific looking to do a solo series. I think this will be good. He was pretty good. Yeah. Mr. Terrific. I don't know the original Mr. Terrific at all. Let's see if he pops up. Mr. Terrific in comics. Like, he's so obscure. Oh, he was black. Was he black in the comics? Or was there an older one? Yeah, he's the second character to take up the Mr. Terrific. The Golden Age was Terry Sloan. Okay, so this is the Mr. Terrific. Yeah, I think I did see this guy a long, long time ago. So this is the current one, and they're going with him. That's fine. At least he's in the comics. Ardent, I have some fond memories of the old Swamp Thing TV movie miniseries. It's so long ago, I only remember liking it. He was originally a Fawcett character, I think. The newer comic one was black, yeah. And his name is Michael Holt. I don't think they said that in the Superman movie, but they didn't go into him too much. Where was I? Yeah. So yeah, I would watch one with him. Deadline. More on MSNBC and Colbert. Superman passing 200 million. So good. James Gunn recalls Henry Cavill's reaction to Superman recasting news. This poor guy. Yeah, he must have been upset because he hadn't gotten a good script. But would you really have wanted Henry in this movie? I think there would have been a lot of complaints. I mean, and again, there would have been a lot of baggage. I don't know how you would have worked it. Donald Trump files lawsuit against Rupert Murdoch and Dow Jones over Wall Street Journal's Jeffrey Epstein story. So this is another bad run at Trump. So the Wall Street Journal claimed to have a story in which Trump sent a bawdy handwritten note to Jeffrey Epstein on his 50th birthday, and that I guess it was Ghislaine Maxwell collected those in a leather-bound book for Jeffrey. So they were personal notes, but the idea was that each personal note had some sort of dirty thing in it. And supposedly Trump drew like a naked woman by hand in the note, which seems so incredibly off-brand for Trump. I don't even know why they ran with this story. And now Trump is suing them. And I kind of don't blame him, because he doesn't like that kind of behavior, I think, in his own corporate world. You know, Trump doesn't drink. He doesn't smoke. Yeah, he's messed around on his wives, but he's always paid off his wives, and he even paid off the porn stars. So, Like, he's always been very discreet. I cannot imagine him writing a note like that to, of all people, Jeffrey Epstein. I can't imagine him writing the note, quite frankly. I can't see a circumstances where he would trust somebody so much that he would write them this note knowing it would go into some sort of leather-bound book. Least of all, Jeffrey Epstein, who I don't think he trusted at all, even when he was sort of hanging out with him. Because I don't think he knew him. And then the moment he got to know him, he kicked him out of Mar-a-Lago and basically called the cops on him. Like, you're telling me he wrote this guy a personal note with a body... I don't believe it. Show me the note. Show me the note. Former Late Show EP Robert Burnett reflects on Stephen Colbert's cancellation, never threatened a corporate merger. Burnett was a guy who produced a lot of late night talk shows back in the day. Yeah. He was on Letterman and one of the writers, so he was pretty good as a producer. I remember that name. Adam Schiff talks of Donald Trump's climate fear in Late Show guest appearance. Senate Democrats raise questions of CBS cancellation. Oh my God. How did Stephen Colbert get a show canceled with exciting, dynamic guests like Adam Schiff? Not political at all. Adam Schiff may be going to jail because he's caught up in what may be some sort of mortgage thing. And that's hilarious to me because Trump is a real estate guy, right? So he kind of knows that world. So maybe he's the one who said to the DOJ, I bet he cheated on his mortgage, you know. Go look at this, this, and this and see if he did. Because a lot of people do that and get away with it, but I bet that's what happened. Ardent. Oh, I was thinking about Robert Meyer. Burnett, different guy. It's more on Practical Magic, too. Don't care. Bleeding Fools. Some comic book shops moving to online sales only. Where the hell have you been? That's been happening for a while. Here's Carl Urban and Johnny Cage in the Mortal Kombat 2 movie. If Sex in the City was woke, and Just Like That is a TED Talk. Yeah. Yeah, Sex in the City was kind of woke. It was more about the sex. I mean, it was woke because it was a very girly show. And just sort of naturally rolled into that. But a lot of it was just seeing Kim Cattrall getting railed. Pretending to get railed anyway. I like Kim Cattrall, so I watched some of that show, I have to admit. Let's see. Did Dark Knight Returns do more harm than good for superhero comics and movies? You know, it's perfectly fine for what it was. The problem is everybody copied it. That's the problem. The problem was not the Dark Knight. The problem was the guys who said, oh, let's do that. Part of the problem is, again, corporate guys saying, well, that was popular, so do it again. Part of it is the editors listening to that rather than pushing back and saying, no, we have to do something different. Or at least, okay, we'll do some of the Dark Knight style stuff, but we'll also do some of the other stuff to keep it around. Or different things. Here's a headline. Turkish cartoonist arrested for Mohammed illustration. He's in Turkey. That's crazy. I mean, it's one thing to do it here in a Western country where most people won't even see it. It's another to do it in a country like that where there's a pretty high volume of Muslim fans, I'll say. Peddling plagiarism. The fall of Windbreaker co-creator Jo Young-seok. I guess it's been canceled for plagiarism? Oh, man. That's terrible. All right, moving on. Trump sues the Wall Street Journal for $10 billion over Epstein letter story. Oh, that's just great. Ardent. That is one brave cartoonist. Yeah, no kidding. Superman keeps soaring. Nick Offerman explains why he wouldn't pick an argument with Trump supporter co-star Dennis Quaid, something I try to handle with nuance. How this guy ended up playing libertarians in TV and movies. It's all about looks. Again, at the end of the day, it's all about looks. Ardent, get him, Donnie. Wall Street Journal asserts full confidence in Trump Epstein report, vows to vigorously fight libel lawsuit. Oh, good. Waste more money. Love it. I hope Trump takes you for everything. Mehcad Brooks exits Law & Order after 3 seasons. So I assume something terrible will happen to his character. That's what always happens in Law & Order. Something horrible happens to the character. Either they get killed or they, they get transferred or they get sick. I mean, Law & Order is often a very depressing show. I used to watch it all the time, though. I liked it, but not anymore. Superman box office flying to $400 million this weekend, similar to the Batman so far. That ain't bad. Let's see if we got any numbers here. Estimated to bring in $55 million, which could be a drop of 56% from its opening weekend, which is on the high end. Some reports suggesting a drop as low as 40 to 50%. Still early on. That $55 million brings the domestic box office to up around $232 million. So if Superman's going to hit $4 million by Sunday, it would mean an international gross of around $167. International box offices are not good. It won't come close to $1 billion. I agree. Batman did better on the foreign. Estimates bringing in $239 million for Superman. The Batman hit $400 million by its second Saturday and hit $500 million by its second Wednesday. So, yeah, it's not doing as well as Batman, that's for sure. Still, hitting $400 million in 2 weeks isn't nothing to complain about. I agree. They'll be fine with it. Taika Waititi directing Goofy Dread movie. Oh, now it's a Goofy movie. Yeah, I told you, it's going to be a comedy. A new Tron Ares trailer arrives. I got to say, it looks cool. The trailer looks cool. I don't know how they're going to explain it. But, yeah. Tron world invades real world. It's different. There's Carl Urban again. Invincible got renewed for a 5th season. Netflix orders a live-action Assassin's Creed series. Ooh, I can't wait to find out the Assassin's pronouns. Ooh, that's going to be great. Ardent, Goofy Dread movie. I'll be right back. Don't go bang your head against the wall. I assume you're going to get whiskey. John Bernthal confirms Punisher for Spider-Man 4, filming special in New York City. That should be fun. I think that'll be good. I have to bring my swim trunks, according to my girlfriend. I guess we're going swimming again. I thought it was supposed to rain today, but I guess not. Marvel heads to Comic-Con 2025 with Fantastic Four booths, X-Men panels, and more. Don't care. So don't care. Hasn't been about the comics for a while, in my opinion. And John Malkovich apparently was cut from Fantastic Four, confirms Marvel. I hadn't heard he was in it. I think he was something called the Red Ghost. Maybe he was only making a cameo. John Malkovich is a solid actor. Solid bad guy. He was an A-lister at one point. Don't know why he's sort of faded into the background. Ardent, you can swim in the rain if it's warm. I could, but I'd be more petrified of getting struck by lightning in an above-ground pool. That Park Place, Disney launches Starlight Parade 2 days early with surprise soft opening for Magic Kingdom as pass holder reservations fill up for debut. Ooh, I can't wait to find out the parade's pronouns. See, comedy's just about repetition. From Hunter to Beast, Aaron Taylor Johnson star in Robert Eggers' Werewolf film with a U for some reason. WGA calls for investigation of CBS over Colbert cancellation as political conspiracy ignores stark financial realities. The WGA. God dang it. Guys, what are you doing? Once again, I did at one point really want to be a member of the WGA. But you have to get a certain amount of credits in movies and you have to qualify, and it's a whole thing. James Gunn confirms controversial Jor-El and Lara message in Superman is 100% real, shutting down fan speculation of a retcon. Again, I'm fine with it. I don't think it makes Jor-El evil. I think it just makes him more alien. I think it jibes with certain eras of the comics, certain incarnations of Jor-El. I think it's perfectly fine. I think it gives it a little bit of a difference. It allows you to sort of abandon Jor-El and Lara and put them in the past, and that's fine. Got some extra tabs today. This was a big news story. I mean, this is a bombshell, really, but so much is going on in the Trump admin, you can barely keep up. There must be accountability. Tulsi Gabbard details treasonous conspiracy Obama admin launched against Trump. Now, this is something we've known about for a long time, that the Obama administration spied on Trump during his election. And the Russia hoax, it turned into the Russia hoax, essentially. Now, is Obama going to go to trial? I highly doubt it. But I think a lot of his associates, a lot of his staff could end up in court. And maybe you might see Obama in court. I doubt they'll go after him and try to charge him. I don't know. So, I guess they're just floating this out here. Partly for the base. But man, you go after Obama. Wow. Wow. That would be amazing. Ardent, okay, I'm back. And you've sent me a link. Do I click on this link? Let me see. So Taika Waititi's Dredd movie is going to be Goofy, is it? Ah, nice. Goofy as Dredd. That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. I like it. Yeah, so Tulsi Gabbard laying down the law. And meanwhile, Pam Bondi asked federal court to unseal Epstein grand jury transcripts. This is going to further help Trump in his lawsuit against the Wall Street Journal. Again, he may be, I think, with regard to the Epstein list, Trump is orchestrating another trap for the Democrats and his enemies. And I think it's working. I'm not exactly sure how it all comes together, but man, it seems to be happening already. So, like, you've got Democrats screaming for the Epstein's files. I think be careful what you wish for, Democrats. Like they gave a crap about them during Obama's admin. I think that's exactly what he wanted. Ardent, willing to bet that the image is going to make people think Waititi is doing an actual Goofy Dredd movie. That would actually be kind of funny. They'd be better off doing an actual Goofy Dredd movie than an actual, trying to do Dredd as a funny character. I mean, take a Waititi, and I don't like his politics, and I think he's ruining himself, but he is a good comedy director. Jojo Rabbit's a good film. You know, What We Do in the Shadows is really cool. The pirate thing looked okay, but I heard that he really gated up towards the end for some reason. You know, I think he should be directing comedies. I don't think he should be directing the MCU or Star Wars. I think they should set him loose on comedies. And I'll even go so far as to say, if he was a guy who approached me to do the Pineys, I would strongly consider him. Now, I would want to, you know, have the power to kind of rein him in, that he wouldn't goof on my characters, because I don't want him to do that. And I certainly don't want him to woke it up. But, you know, if he can put his politics away, he is a really talented guy. But some of these guys just can't. He's probably too rich to do that. Probably doesn't want to listen to anybody. A lot of these guys are just so rich. If I was that rich, I'd be pretty crazy. Just to let you know. That's why God should make me rich, at least, you know, now. I'd be doing some crazy stuff. Oh, yeah. I'd be remaking South Jersey. People would be like, what the F is happening? Why does the Historical Society have hundreds of thousands of dollars now? So, yeah, Trump signed the Genius Act into a law to make U.S. crypto the capital of the world, which is bonkers. This was another funny headline. Ardent, I think it's ego more than the wealth. Yeah. This headline, CBS News, Scott MacFarlane claims he had PTSD because Trump supporters wanted to kill media after Butler PA assassination attempt. Well, I just saw another version of the Butler assassination attempt, and from a different angle, Trump's guys are moving the reporters in position so they could take the famous picture, which was very interesting. Now, I don't think the assassination was staged or anything like that, but I do think Trump's guys are constantly thinking that way. I think they did that because, oh my God, he was almost shot. We got to get pictures of this. Like literally in that second, they thought of it, and he just made the move and I bet Trump gave him a raise because that won him the election. Misguided Keeping Families Together Act linked to increase in child mortality in Washington State. No surprise there. The government, if you put the government in charge of deserts, they would be, a rainforest inside of 5 years. Iranian illegal immigrant arrested by ICE in parking lot of Oregon daycare. Federal agents escalate arrest of illegal immigrants at courthouse after hearings over active cases. So, arresting more illegal aliens, that's a good thing. That's a good thing. Over at the New York Post, here's the guy who got caught at a Coldplay concert with his mistress who worked in his HR department. And what a friggin' hypocrisy that the woman, the head of HR, is having an affair with her boss in violation of most HR things, right? In a company, can't be banging the boss. That is a big no bueno. Ardent, so many good memes coming out of that image. I know, right? Summer intern fired from white shoe New York City law firm for biting multiple coworkers. Nibble is too tame a word. What the F, man? Son of Sam's first shooting victim, now 88, shaken by sudden encounter with killer's disciple. Oh my God. What a nightmare. Who's a disciple of Son of Sam? Who is this? Porn's tragic curse. 7th adult star dies of drug-related causes in 3 years. Unfortunately, that's pretty common. When you're doing prawn, it's not exactly a happy life. It probably looks happy initially for some of these girls, but after a while, they just get used up. And they realize, oh my God, no man's going to want me. How am I going to turn my life around? They just get despondent, I think. Don't do prawn. Whatever you do, never do prawn. Oh my God. Ardent, yeah, prawn is bad for you. Okay. Crash chaos. At least 30 people hurt after driver plows in the crowd outside an East Hollywood nightclub. LA's going to hell, man. I'm glad I don't live there anymore. I was only there for a short time, but I didn't like it while it was halfway decent. Mayor Eric Adams warns of dark days ahead for New York City if socialist Zoran Mamdani is elected to replace him. Yeah, I agree. Ardent, oh, just reminded myself, did you see the story about Isaac Hayes' son saying he probably didn't quit South Park? Yeah, I did. It's weird. It's a very strange story. Here's another strange story. Joe Rogan fawns over Texas progressive who said there are 6 sexes you need to run for president. I think Joe Rogan's taking a hard left, but whatever. New Jersey University launches world's first PhD in happiness. The need has never been greater. God, what a waste of money college is now. What an incredible waste of money. Let's see. All right. I can't go through the whole New York Post today. I got stuff to do. I'm starting to get text. Risky business actress Rebecca De Mornay. Oh, I remember her. Gushes over ex Tom Cruise. I'm really proud of knowing him. She was a hot piece back in the day. She looks like she's had some work, though. Bit of a stretch to face out there. LeMay is here. Have you heard of the rise of women dying from strokes from bedroom choking? I saw that article. I don't know how real it is. That sort of became a thing for a while. Girls were like into choking. I think it started with the Archer cartoon because the character Cheryl on Archer had sex with one of the characters and wanted to be choked. And then she got bruises on her neck. And then that became a cosplay. Girls who would cosplay as Cheryl, and Cheryl's pretty hot in the show, would cosplay dressed as the character and then put fake bruises on their neck as part of it because Cheryl's just a total psychopath. And then I think that kind of made the jump over to a trend of women who were kind of decided that they'd be into choking while they were having sex. I've heard of a few girls who were into that. I don't think I ever had sex when anybody was into that. One weirdo, maybe. She was into a lot of weird stuff. But you know, I don't think it's as big of a deal, but now it's like somebody latched onto that trend. I hear it's a trend in porn or prawn. I said it again. Ardent, PhD in happiness. Does that mean I can teach a master's in asshattery? Maybe. Major in sarcasm, minor in irony. That actually got into the zeitgeist back when Michael Hutchence killed himself. Oh, I should have said self-deleted. Damn it, I'm messing up. YouTube, don't flag me, bro. Arden, I was never asked to choke. Soak, though, yeah. Soak? No, spank, yeah. Clint, I have 3 credits in tomfoolery. Arden, at Clint Miller, you're on the fast track. All right, we got to move on. Breitbart, declassified. Obama admin manufactured intelligence to push fake Trump-Russia collusion narrative. Treasonous conspiracy. DNI calls on DOJ for every person involved to be investigated and brought to justice. I don't think Obama will be one of those. But he'll be dragged into court, probably. Transfer some shenanigan credits from Europe, says Ardent. Outrage makes Watergate look like amateur hour. Kind of pushing it too hard, but sure. I mean, I agree. But don't push it too hard that people get bored of it already. And this, keep in mind that this could have been something that the Trump admin held back for just this occasion. We'll hold back. You know, you keep working on this Obama thing, and when the time is right, we'll launch it, right? And so now they're launching it because Trump's getting flack for the Epstein thing. Tom Homan. Dem lawmakers have emboldened people to attack ICE agents. They have. I think they should probably be censured for that at the very least. Let's see. What the F? CBS asked freed hostage if Israel is committing genocide. Yeah, like, what do you expect him to say? That seems like an extreme question. I mean, I could understand, what do you think of the war? Mike Huckabee, Hamas has been the holdup to the deal since 10/7. U.S. envoy says Syria and Israel agree to ceasefire. Good. Russia slams Ukraine with over 300 drones, leaving 1 dead in Odessa. No bueno. Congo and Rwanda-backed rebels signed declaration of principles to end conflict. Good for you. Good for you, Trump-a-rooney. Democrat governor, Trump deserves credit for securing border. Good for him. A sane Democrat dodges on if he's okay with illegals getting Medicaid and comprehensive fix. You blew it. You should have said, oh yeah, no, we don't give people in this country illegally, Medicaid. Come on. How hard is this? People in this country illegally, 100% Democrats. Only the leftoids think people here illegally should get free medical care. Italian prosecutors appeal to Supreme Court against acquittal of Salvini for blocking migrant NGO boat. Academic warns banning German opposition AfD party a sure path to civil war. Yes. 19 injured after fireworks show goes awry in Western Germany. What were they celebrating? More immigrants? Make-A-Wish boy chose to meet NFL's C.J. Stroud because a player is a great Christian. Based Make-A-Wish boy. Video, Philly fanatic roast astronomer CEO HR chief Coldplay and kiss cam ordeal. Well, I have to see this. It's the fanatic. He's hilarious. Okay, there he is. Oh, there he is with the Mrs. Fanatic. All right, there we go. I don't know if you can see this. It's pretty hilarious. They're pretending to be caught. And they're redoing the entire bit, basically. We love the fanatic here. He's a fun mascot. And Liberty's Sabrina Dioscu admits Caitlin Clark means a lot more to the game ahead of the All-Star break. I don't care. Nobody cares about the WNBA. Who cares? All right. Finally, at Breitbart Entertainment, the only person who canceled Stephen Colbert was Stephen Colbert. There he is with Kamala Harris, Hillary Clinton, Joe Biden, and Adam Schiff. Colbert kills off Late Show franchise. Trump trolls. I hear Jimmy Kimmel is next. Audience melts down. Kimmel lashes out. CBS, F you. Democrat senators freak a political favor. No. Netflix still king. 45% profit increase second quarter. I don't know how. I still watch Netflix about as much as I did when it first started. Ardent, what's worse, though? Being caught cheating or being caught in a Coldplay show? I know, that's a tough one. That's a tough one. French band Yelly abandons North American tour over current political climate. Who the hell is Yelly? No idea. RuPaul's Drag Race star Tsunami Moose, a DACA recipient, self-deports back to Panama. Adios! Former NIH director Francis Collins peddles false USAID figures in Trump-bashing interview with Colbert. A show that basically no one's watching. Steve Miller Band, and this was weird, cancels North American tour due to climate change weather disasters. I don't think they believe in climate change. I think they were just saying that there was a lot of bad weather in the venues they were going to play, and they didn't want to be caught up. I mean, like, Texas got flooded pretty bad, and there's a couple other places, I'm sure. LeMay, bye. Bye, LeMay. I'm about to wrap it up soon. Comedian Shane Gillis trolls Trump this week. Caitlin Clark at ESPY's speech. This is weird. Actor Derek Dixon said he feared Tyler Perry would grape him, locked self in bathroom overnight. So Tyler Perry's getting sued over stuff. I am a little bit shocked. I never saw that with Tyler Perry, but these days you just never know. I was still shocked. I'm still shocked about Neil Gaiman, quite frankly, if that's true. Ardent, LOL. Meanwhile, me on the border. One out, one in. Right, guys? Please? I mean, just do it the legal way, Ardent. It takes forever, but I saw a guy on a video. He got here okay. His wife brought him the news. He cleared another legal hurdle. LeMay, I mean the guy who self-deported. Oh, okay. Sorry. I thought you were leaving the street. Disney sues Hong Kong company. It says it's selling illegal Mickey Mouse jewelry. Yeah. We're right on top of that. Forget about the communists and their sweatshops and whatnot. Oh, what? They're selling illegal Mickey Mouse merchandise? Oh, we're there. We're there with bells on to stop it. And this was my favorite headline of the week. 50-year-old Gunsmoke reruns more popular than Disney's Star Wars and Marvel junk. So let me read that again. Gunsmoke, this was an old Western TV show back in the day, very popular. The reruns of that show are more popular, according to John Nolte, than Disney's Star Wars and Marvel junk, their TV shows. That's nuts. That's absolutely insane. So, that's the state of television. Zebek's demise. Who doesn't like Gunsmoke? I never really watched it. Never really watched it much. All right. I got to wrap things up because I got to get to a pool party. Apparently, I have to bring my bathing suit. All right. So I'll be doing that. Thanks for tuning in. What have we learned today? Well, I think we learned that Superman, in my prediction, is going to do okay. I think it's going to do okay. We'll check. I'll definitely check in on Sunday. LeMay, my dad still likes to watch Gunsmoke. Nice. We learned, for those of you who tuned in late, this is the cover for book 18 of the Pineys. I just got it yesterday from Vig. I haven't finished it yet. I got to put all the errata on it. Zebek's Demise. Have fun, Tony. Take care, everyone. Take care, Zebek's Demise. So we learned that this will be the cover of book 18 and that it should be out probably by Monday. Clint Miller. Send pics, Tony. What sort of pics do you want, Clint? Zebek's Demise, nice. Ardent, nice cover art. Thank you, Vig. This is the ghost car of Fork Landing Road, and this is a little devil that the Pineys are chasing, and then this is Hemingway's truck in the background, his sky blue pickup truck that his grandfather gave him. That is in perfect shape, sometimes, for reasons that are in the book series. What else did we learn? We learned Stephen Colbert is going to be looking for work. Ardent, make him pay for the pics. I only charge for feet pics, Ardent. That's the only ones I charge for. No, I'm not doing that. Now, I'll be finishing up the cover art soon, and believe me, you'll be seeing a lot of it on my feed. Zebek's Demise, perfect. Yeah, we had a good laugh at Stephen Colbert's expense because he has destroyed his show and his comedy with politics. Here he is with Obama, Biden, Clinton. I don't know what he was thinking. Maybe he'll run for office. That would make sense. Ardent, we learn there's more interest in actual Goofy Dread movie than Watiti's likely mess. Yeah. We learned Joan likes apples. We also had a nice lunch in the beginning. You could see me devour that. Speaking of which, I think I got to hit the bathroom. So that's it for me, Tony D and Little Joan. Thank you for tuning in for the Saturday lunchtime live stream. This was fun. I kind of like the lunchtime live stream. Seems like everybody made it here, so maybe we'll try this again sometime in the future. Maybe I'll do a second live stream if I ever get time in my busy schedule. I wouldn't bank on that very soon, by the way. That my schedule is just jam-packed. Zebek's demise. I was making breakfast. Ardent, we learn there's more interest in actual... Oh, I read that one. Ardent, high time for Darkwing Duck reboot. I agree. Clint Miller, salute. LeMay, farewell. Ardent, later bud, later all. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you in the next one.